Pokémon Scarlet starter-only run made its way through the base game. I was able to obtain all 18 badges, navigating my way through the Victory Road, Starfall Street, and the Path of Legend storylines using all 29 starters, including Pikachu and Eevee. Yet I still felt the need to take starter Pokemon popularity to the next level. So I further challenged myself by defeating all 8 gym leaders again in rematches and conquering the Academy Ace tournament. Then it was off to Kitakami to finish the Teal Mask storyline, where I met with Carmine and Kieran, 2 students from the Blueberry Academy. One of my favorite things about the Teal Mask DLC that few talk about is the Ogre Oustin minigame. It's a game where you're able to retrieve berries and put them into its proper areas in a certain number of time. The further you progress, the harder it gets when greedy Pokemon try to steal your berries. If you are able to conquer easy, normal, and hard mode, you are guaranteed to receive a free shiny Munchlax with the crafty mark. Ogre Oustin is also the place where you can earn Mochi, which works just like feathers, improving the EVs of your Pokemon. The main focus of the Teal Mask story is at the tail end of it. Along with the help of Carmine and Kieran, you are able to clear the name and the legacy of the legendary Pokemon Ogerpon in vanquishing the Loyal 3. After defeating Kieran in a final battle, Ogerpon allows you to prove yourself to her by going up against Ogerpon in a battle against all 4 mask forms. Once I weakened Ogerpon, I managed to catch it in my only Beast Ball, earned by completing the Paldean Region Pokedex by registering all 400 Pokemon in the Pokedex. Even though I'm not allowed to use Ogerpon in this starter-only run, she's still a wonderful addition to my collection. And since Ogerpon chose me as her permanent companion, Kieran was fuming and vowed for the opportunity at revenge. Before venturing into my next journey, I decided to go for a bonus 30th starter. One more evolution to add to my team. And I found the perfect partner to add. This wild fairy Terra Sylveon near the Team Star Fairy Base at North Province Area 3. Catching any wild Terra Pokemon during the base game of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, or in Part 1, the Hidden Treasure Area 0 Teal Mask DLC, can be pretty valuable because they are always guaranteed to have 3 best IVs. And I wanted this particular Sylveon because of a certain move in its moveset when you battle it, and that is the move of Yawn. Once you hit a Pokemon with it, they immediately get drowsy and on the second turn will be put to sleep. I ran yet another community poll to figure out which evolution to add as my 30th member, and 72% of my YouTube gaming channel community poll voted Sylveon over Espeon. So welcome to the team, Sylveon, as I caught this beautiful fox in a love ball. As I stated before, Sylveon is my favorite of all 8 evolutions, and my second favorite fairy type of all time, only trailing Gardevoir. I nicknamed this Sylveon after the Kalos fairy type gym leader Valerie. Adding another fairy type alongside Primarina will be very helpful down the line as I make my way to the Indigo Disk DLC. And this Sylveon came with the neutral, serious nature. Time to head back to Naraja Academy. My last bit of preparations before leaving the Paldea region was that I hyper-trained every single starter, and I also maxed out the special attack and defense of Sylveon. After meeting with Blueberry Academy Director Serrano, I was about to take yet another plane ride, heading to the In Unova region, officially kicking off the Hidden Treasure of Area 0 Part 2, the Indigo Disk DLC storyline. In the Pokemon gaming Nintendo Switch era of DLCs, this is my favorite one of the 4, believe it or not. Right up there with the Pokemon Sword and Shield second DLC, the Crown Tundra. Once again being caught up in the atmosphere of this beautiful facility, I was once again introduced to a second-year student here at the Blueberry Academy, and Lacey, who definitely looks the part of being a sensational Pokemon trainer. And she is now my tour guide at the start of the Indigo Disk storyline, as I get introduced to the entrance battle court. Lacey also told me that Miraja Academy has got nothing on the Blueberry Academy, considering her academy puts a strong emphasis on Pokemon battling. Serrano insisted I battled Lacey just to get to know her a little bit. Lacey also gave me a friendly warning that the Blueberry Academy focuses on double battles, and unlike my Violet Shiny badge quest where I came into this area way too soon, I was more than prepared to take her on this time. For those of you who may be new to the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disk DLC story, Lacey will try to trip up the player with a plus-minus strategy by starting off with 2 electric rodents, Plusle and Minun. So the best way to go at Lacey is to send in 2 ground types who are immune to electric attacks. And for this starter-only run, it made sense to begin with Swampert and Torterra. I made sure that Plusle and Minun did not get a chance to execute Lacey's plans by having Torterra protect on the first turn so that Swampert shakes things up immediately with Earthquake that got rid of both Plusle and Minun. Even though this was just a battle for fun, I still took it seriously as Lacey brought in her ace Pokemon Excadrill. I swapped out Swampert so that Torterra can get the last word in with Headlong Rush, delivering a powerful one-hit KO and an easy victory. But I'm sure we'll see Lacey again down the road. Gracious and classy in defeat, Lacey offered me her heartfelt congratulations. Director Serrano also did the same as a thank you for becoming an exchange student at the Academy, giving me my own uniform set and the Indigo style card, which I will definitely put to good use. As I enter through these hallowed halls, making my way towards the state-of-the-art Blueberry Academy Terrarium, I'm now going to give you a couple of new rules I added for my Pokemon Scarlet starter-only run now that the Indigo Disk story is here. I will be able to use any of the 30 starters that are with me on this journey, but starting now, if any of the Pokemon is to faint during a battle, I will not use it again for the remainder of it. Just like a standard Nuzlocke, even though this is not a hardcore Nuzlocke. I wanted to make it as fun and interesting as possible by using as many starters as I can, if not all of them. And they've done a fantastic job in helping me get through the main story at least, becoming Paldea's top champion, and saving the region as a whole when I defeated AI Professor Sada back at Area 0. The only other new rule in place is that I leveled up all 30 starter Pokemon to 100 to max out the obedience threshold level cap, which I froze at 75 after getting all 18 badges in the main story of Pokemon Scarlet. After a short tour of the terrarium, I headed back to Paldea to get one more bit of business done, and that is on my head. I took full advantage of the Indigo style card given to me by Director Serrano, headed to a hair salon so I can get the Pokeball haircut. Now let's get back to Blueberry Academy, shall we? After taking on some Blueberry quests and catching an Alolan Vulpix, a Scarlet exclusive, for my class in the coastal biome, I got another call from Carmine, one of my old buddies from the land of Kitakami, who suggested we meet up again at the Central Plaza. The last time we saw each other was at the end of the Teal Mask DLC storyline in Kitakami. Since then, Carmine has been able to travel with Briar and got some new Pokemon she wanted to show off by visiting various regions in the Pokemon world. So Carmine insisted we'd get into a double battle. Carmine only has 4 Pokemon on her team, as I came in with the standard team of 6. But as you will see here, I only needed 2. Serena, my shiny Delphox, and Kukui the Primarina, going up against her Mightyena and Toucanon. I simply decided to start this bout with Primarina and Delphox, considering Mightyena has the Intimidate ability, which lowers opposing Pokemon's attack stats by 1. However, Delphox and Primarina are special attacking studs. I pulled out my first surprise of the battle by terrestrializing Delphox into a Terra Fairy type, eliminating her Mightyena immediately with Dazzling Gleam, allowing Primarina to finish off Toucanon with a Moonblast. That's half of Carmine's team gone already, but her troubles were far from over, as she brought out Scrafty and her ace Pokemon Sinistra, who Carmine terrestrialized the Grass and Ghost type from Generation 9 into a pure Grass type. Sinistra is holding an Oka Berry, which reduces the damage done by a super effective fire attack, allowing it to survive 1 flamethrower from Delphox. Scrafty wasn't as fortunate, being a fighting dark type makes it quad weak to Fairy, with Primarina earning its 2nd KO of the bout. It also got the final one by destroying Sinistra with an Ice Beam after Sinistra had paralyzed Delphox with Stun Spore. Chalk up another victory over Carmine, who's probably still upset that I schooled her in Ogre Oustin back in Kitakami, breaking her record by nearly 2,000 points. What Carmine also recognized that doesn't change in me is that I don't hold back when it comes to Pokemon battles. What has changed is the look and demeanor of Carmine's brother Kieran, my other Kitakami pal, who worked himself up into a frenzy to become the new champion of the BB League, and it's up to me to fix everything. Before I could engage in some double battle mayhem, I got some added assistance from BB League Elite Four member Drayton to join the BB League. The moment they took one look at my resume and saw that I am Paldea's top champion, they immediately bumped me up to a higher ranking. That way I can challenge the BB League Elite Four right from the get-go, at my own pace and on my own terms. My first opponent of choice in this BB League Elite Four gauntlet was heading over to the Canyon Biome, where its leader is Amarys. Normally, in past Scarlet and Violet playthroughs of the Indigo Disk, I always went after Crispin first. But since Amarys now has, in my opinion, the easiest of all the Elite Trials, I decided to knock this one out of the park. Amarys' trial gives your Koraidon or Miraidon for Violet players the temporary ability to fly, and all you have to do to pass is to beat this flying time course within a set number of time before reaching the finish line. You gain extra time by flying through Magnemite rings. Now on to the matter at hand. In order to defeat Amarys, a young lady with an ironclad will to win, specializing in using Steel-type Pokemon, you must come with a plan to take down her first 2 Pokemon, Skarmory and Alolan Dugtrio. In order to execute my plan, I decided to start with Kiawe the Incineroar with a double Intimidate strategy, along with Serena the Delphox. Dugtrio is one of the speediest Pokemon around, so I had Incineroar fake out Dugtrio, getting the first turn flinch, allowing for Delphox to clean things up, burning Dugtrio to a crisp with Heat Wave, which also brought Skarmory down to its 3. Getting Dugtrio out at the start of the battle was pivotal, considering Dugtrio could easily wipe out both of my Mons with Earthquake, plus Dugtrio was holding a Focus Sash, which is the reason for the fake out in the first place. With Skarmory still around, it was able to set up Stealth Rocks, and with 2 fire Pokemon still on the field for my team, Amarys decides to bring out her own starter, the Water Steel type from Sinnoh, Empoleon. The pesky Skarmory becomes Delphox's second victim with Flamethrower, and Incineroar left Empoleon with a Parting Shot, lowering both of Empoleon's attack stats a stage and allowing me to bring in Ash the Raichu to deal with Empoleon. Raichu did take a Hydro Pump and some Stealth Rock damage before clapping back with Thunderbolt. allowing Delphox to take out 2 more of Amarys' Pokemon with another Heat Wave, eliminating both Empoleon and Scizor, leaving Amarys with only 2 Pokemon remaining, which are Reuniclus and her ace Pokemon, Metagross. In retrospect, I should have kept Serena into the battle because the Fox was dominating. I made a double substitution in bringing in Alon the Chestnut for the first time ever and hopped the Cinderace, as Amarys decided to terrestrialize the Steel Psychic Behemoth from the Hoenn region into a pure Steel type. Chestnut did not have a chance to make an impact at all, as it took a resounding Zen Headbutt from Metagross, and after Reuniclus set up Trick Room to make itself faster, it immediately got rid of Chestnut with a swift Psychic. The reason why I had Cinderace on the battlefield was to use the move Court Change, removing the Stealth Rocks from my side of the field to Amarys's. That Court Change allowed for me to make a safe switch into Roy the Skeledirge, terrestrializing the most powerful starter from the Paldea region in my opinion, into a pure Fire type. With Cinderace's hidden ability Libero changing its type to normal, it made Metagross's Brick Break super effective, and Hop will be hopping no more. I had Roy set up the Sun with Sunny Day, take me back to my early portion of the Scarlet starter only run, as I subbed in the clear MVP for this bout, Serena, my shiny Delphox, as Reuniclus weirdly set up Trick Room to return the dimensions of the field to normal. Delphox barbecued Metagross with a sun-boosted Heat Wave, giving the Kalos Shining Star an unprecedented 5 knockouts in this bout. Skeledirge scored the final KO by eliminating Reuniclus with 1 playing of Torch Song, earning me my first victory against a BB League Elite Four leader. This is my first time winning a double battle where 1 Pokemon on my team almost single-handedly took out the entire team of the opposing trainer. The impressive showing from Delphox gave me some well-deserved respect from Amarys and a brand new move, the TM for the Steel Move Hard Press. Next up, it's onward to the Savannah biome. The first biome you walk into the moment you step into the terrarium for the first time is the Savannah biome, where its BB League Elite Four leader is the hot-headed, fiery, battle-loving Crispin. Crispin's elite trial is a pretty fun one. All you have to do to pass is make a super spicy sandwich. But the catch is, you can't use your own ingredients. You literally have to face trainers, answer a few quizzes, and some you have to beat in battle in order to get certain ingredients to make the super spicy sandwich. After slapping on the ingredients, I decided not to put the top bread on the sandwich. Still, I was able to pass the trial, leaving Crispin wondering if that truly is a Paldean thing. What's also a Paldean thing, at least for me, is Pokemon battles, and Crispin specializes in the art of using Fire-type Pokemon. Consider me to be the new Paldean firefighter, as I bring out Swampert and Greninja to take on Crispin's 2 leads, Talonflame and Rotom Heat. My plan of attack on Crispin's team was to have Greninja set up a layer of Toxic Spikes. Thanks to the protein hidden ability, Greninja is now a poison type, making Rotom Heat's ensuing Thunderbolt not super effective. Talonflame got knocked out swiftly with Liquidation from Swampert, after Talonflame damaged itself at the start of the bout by hitting Swampert with Brave Bird. As Crispin subbed in his camera up, I boldly kept Greninja into the battle to set up a second layer of Toxic Spikes, so that the next substitution Crispin makes will have his Pokemon badly poisoned. Rotom hit a Will-O-Wisp on Swampert to have its attack briefly, but I came prepared for it by giving Swampert a held Rostberry to cure itself from the burn. With Camerupt being a part ground type, it makes Liquidation quite effective, scoring Swampert a second KO and forcing Crispin to sub in Magmortar, who immediately gets poisoned on the switch. I then called for Greninja to use its signature move Water Shuriken on Rotom. With the held item loaded dice, you're guaranteed at least 4 hits from the multi-hit move. Greninja was able to hit the microwave form of Rotom all 5 times, taking Rotom dangerously low. Greninja still being a poison type makes Magmortar's Psychic super effective, but thanks to Rotom's second Will-O-Wisp, Magmortar is still alive despite taking liquidation and more poison damage from Greninja's Toxic Spikes. Magmortar also weakened the damage done by liquidation by eating a Pasho Berry. I pivoted Greninja out of the battle with U-turn to do some chip damage on Magmortar and subbed in Dr. Quacklevolt. Rotom then hit Swampert with Hex, allowing Magmortar to set up the sun with Sunny Day, which cut in half damage done by water-type moves. I decided to go for a flip turn with Swampert anyway to do some chip damage on Rotom, subbing out Swampert in favor of Kieran, the Hisuian Samurott. Magmortar still on the field can still be a threat with Psychic and Thunderbolt, but a priority Aqua Jet from Hisuian Samurott finally put Rotom away. Magmortar struck for one more Psychic on Quacklevolt, even getting a critical hit before going down to the poison from Greninja's Toxic Spikes. With no more Sunny Day setters on Crispin's team, I wisely had Quacklevolt use Rain Dance to wash the sun away, as Crispin is now down to his final two Pokemon, Exeggutor and his own fire starter from Hoenn in Blaziken. Whipping out his trusty Frying Pan and his Terrorb, Crispin had no other alternative but to terrestrialize Blaziken. However, Blaziken's flames got put out before they can even begin, thanks to a rain-boosted waterfall from Hisuian Samurott, taking Blaziken down in one single hit. I badly underestimated Samurott's speed as a Feather Dance meant for Blaziken hit Exeggutor instead. Exeggutor almost took out Quacklevolt in retaliation with his Side Shock. After that close call, I immediately subbed out Quacklevolt in favor of Ashta Raichu, which only served as a decoy, as I unleashed yet another surprise during this run by terrestrializing Hisuian Samurott into a Terra Bug type. I made sure X marks the spot to polish off this fight in style, as a quad-effective X-Scissor eradicates Exeggutor, earning me a clean sweep of this battle with Crispin's team without losing a single Pokemon. My strategic sense was on a roll in these double battles, but after receiving the Temper Flare TM from Crispin, he encouraged me to crank up the heat in the BB League Elite Four Gauntlet, something I knew I needed to do considering where my next destination was going to be. Match number 3 against a BB League Elite Four leader resides in the coastal biome, where I once again found myself face to face with Lacey. No longer my tour guide, Lacey is about to put me through an extreme test, which is not her elite trial, where all you have to do to pass is answer 5 Pokemon-related quiz questions. If you get any of the questions wrong, you have to face a Pokemon trainer to earn a point in order to pass the trial. The only question, in my opinion, that may be tricky for some is where to find the pink Meteor after all 7 Meteor cores shuffle around. All the other quiz questions are relatively easy, including the final one, where all you have to do is to find what part of Granbull that Lacey uses as a pillow. In what was strictly a battle for fun when I first came to Blueberry Academy, I soundly defeated Lacey, but this time, the Fairy-type Master isn't fooling around, as she starts off with her actual team of 6, beginning with Whimsicott and her Granbull. I chose to start this battle with Liko the Meowscarada and Kiawe the Incineroar, who dropped a double Intimidate on both of Lacey's leads, also preventing her Granbull from doing the same by having both my Pokemon hold a clear amulet. I had Incineroar fake out Whimsicott to prevent the prankster from using Light Screen, enabling Meowscarada to drop a Flower Trick on Granbull's head, scoring a guaranteed crit, and according to Lacey, it's just not right. After taking a now neutral play rough from Granbull due to the Protein Hidden ability, Meowscarada scored a second straight crit with Shadow Claw to wipe out the Fairy Pooch. Whimsicott then went on the aggressive with Moonblast, which Incineroar took comfortably, before destroying Whimsicott with a critical hit Temper Flare, the new fire move TM taught to Incineroar after defeating Crispin. A great start to this battle, but the war is only starting, as Lacey brings in her next two Pokemon, Galarian Slowbro and Primarina. I put myself in prime position to potentially sweep Lacey's team with a fourth straight critical hit, coming from Meowscarada's second flower trick of the bout to wipe out Primarina. Galarian Slowbro could still pose a threat with Flamethrower, but not if you have Incineroar wipe Galarian Slowbro off the face of existence with a powerful Darkest Lariat. Meowscarada and Incineroar were hard carrying, which is exactly what Lacey had in mind when she brought in her Alcremie and her ace Pokemon Excadrill to try to turn this battle around. I had Meowscarada pivot out of the bout with U-turn on Alcremie to bring in Ramos the Venusaur. Then I also decided to lower Excadrill's attack stats by a stage with a parting shot from Incineroar to summon another starter from the Kanto region, Tierno the Blastoise. That high horsepower Incineroar took before subbing out proved to be a warning, as Lacey held Alcremie decorate Excadrill to sharply boost its attack and special attack stats by 2 stages. Another high horsepower erased half of Venusaur's health, and Lacey felt one decorate wasn't enough, so she had Alcremie do it again to power up Excadrill even more. After I put Alcremie on the clock with Toxic, I had Ramos protect itself in the next turn, which was a wise decision considering high horsepower would have instantly put Ramos away. After finally striking Excadrill with Blastoise's Flash Cannon, Lacey got greedy with a third decorate from Alcremie to put Excadrill's attack stat to a +5 due to the parting shot from Incineroar. If I didn't make precise decisions from here on out, Lacey's Excadrill will be an instant run killer. I knew at that point I was going to lose one Pokemon, and unfortunately Ramos had to be the one to go as I had Tierno protect itself. Thankfully, I used my head with that protect, considering Alcremie went for the super effective Giga Drain. It did get some HP back with leftovers, before the toxic damage continued to sap away at its health. There was nothing else to it from here. I had to make another sacrifice. And unfortunately, my next one to fall was my most loyal soldier throughout the entire bout, Kiawe the Incineroar. It pained for me to see Incineroar go, but it was time for Lacey to watch her Excadrill leave. That clutch Flash Cannon from Blastoise finally forced Lacey into a checkmate. A huge load was lifted when Excadrill exited stage right. Alcremie can try to heal all it wants with Recover, but the toxic damage doubles every single turn. My final substitution was bringing in Akari, the Hisuian Typhlosion, immediately making its presence felt by using Spite to cut off the remaining 4 power points off Alcremie's Recover. I also had Tierno do some setting up of its own with Shell Smash, which lowers both your defenses by 1 stage, but increases both your attack stats and your speed by 2. The best thing Lacey could do at this point was use Alluring Voice, which Hisuian Typhlosion resists. It was time to bring this match to its epic conclusion. So for yet another surprise, I terrestrialized Tierno the Blastoise into being a Terra Steel type. A final firing of Flash Cannon seals the deal, and I was able to defeat Lacey a second time, but this time I earned it the hard way. When I went through the Indigo Disk storyline for the first time, Lacey was the only BB League Elite Four member to legitimately take 3 Pokemon off my team before I was able to score a victory. No matter what Pokemon I decide to bring to this battle with Lacey, I always leave the coastal biome after facing Lacey, breathing a large sigh of relief, especially after winning this one. Lacey gave me the TM for the new fairy move Alluring Voice, and there's only one BB League Elite Four member left to conquer. It was time to brave the chills and head to the frigid climate of the polar biome, where the last Elite Four member standing, Drayton, is awaiting. A Upon entering every biome, you are required to pay 50 blueberry points from your account in order to challenge a BB League Elite Four leader. Not so at the polar biome. Drayton lets you get in for free by charging your payment to his account. Drayton's Elite Trial will easily trip up a first-time player. It's a terrarium-only challenge, where you are required to have only Pokemon caught within the terrarium on your team, and you also have to have your OT name and ID number attached to every single one of them. Pokemon caught in the Terra Raid Den will not count. If you don't fulfill these requirements, you will not be able to challenge Drayton. I will admit, it does feel good to hit that guaranteed first hit KO Fissure for the first time in Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. Beating the 3 trainers are simple. All you have to do is get yourself a good ground type and a couple of good fire types. I personally use Flygon, Talonflame, and Camerupt. Since Drayton is the son of a Unova region gym leader from Opelucid City, you know he's going to come stacked with a team full of dragons. Like Flygon and Dragonite, his 2 lead Pokemon. But you know what they say, the best defense is a good offense. And with my 2 first Pokemon, Chloe the Glaceon and Bede the Inteleon, why can't I have both? Drayton attacked first by targeting Glaceon with 2 straight attacks, Dragonite's Extreme Speed and Flygon's Stone Edge, which is super effective and boosted by a held Life Orb. I had Glaceon's defenses boosted thanks to Inteleon using Snowscape. Then Glaceon proceeded to blow both his Pokemon away with a now 100% accurate Blizzard. Both Flygon and Dragonite are quad weak to ice. However, Dragonite only lost half of its HP due to a held Yachi Berry, which shortens the damage done by super effective ice attacks, and its hidden ability Multiscale. Flygon truly is Flygon, but now Drayton decided to summon in Haxorus, a dragon type that can easily wreck your team if it gets set up with Dragon Dance, plus it has the steel move Iron Head for ice and fairy type coverage. Haxorus oddly went for Earthquake, so I decided to come at Haxorus and Dragonite with a double Blizzard from both Inteleon and Glaceon. Inteleon's Blizzard got rid of Dragonite and brought Haxorus down to its Focus Sash. Not allowing Haxorus to attack was first priority on my list of goals for this bout, and thanks to Glaceon's second Blizzard, Haxorus was done for. Still, Drayton has 3 more Pokemon, all of which could be problematic in their own right, especially Kingdra. Drayton also brought in another starter from the Hoenn region in Sceptile. Glaceon and Inteleon did their jobs perfectly, so I decided to bring in Kukui the Primarina and Leon the Charizard to do combat against Sceptile and Kingdra. Sceptile hit a powerful Leaf Storm on Primarina, and after Kingdra washed away the snow with Rain Dance to set up its Swift Swim ability, 1 Hydro Pump was all it took to delete Charizard from the battle. Now at a -2 in special attack, Sceptile still hit another Leaf Storm on Primarina before the Water Fairy Star from the Alola region could properly defend itself. Primarina finally exploded out of the gates with a powerful Ice Beam that was great enough to one-shot Sceptile, forcing Drayton to summon in his ace Pokemon, the new Generation 9 evolution of Duraludon, Archaludon. I decided to counter Archaludon with a second evolution, my bonus 30th starter, Sylveon. Drayton must not like evolutions, as it targeted Sylveon with both Kingdra's Hydro Pump and a Flash Cannon from Archaludon, taking Sylveon's HP to under half. I then struck Archaludon with a Yawn from Sylveon, before subbing her out in favor of Empoleon. Kingdra struck Empoleon with a resistant Hydro Pump, before getting annihilated by a Moonblast from Primarina. Sadly, this is the time where I had to let Primarina go. Archaludon charged up an Electro Shot, a brand new electric special attack that is normally a 2-turn attack, unless if the rain is up. It is now a 1-turn move, and at base 130 power and Archaludon's special attack charged up a stage, there is no way Primarina was going to survive after being zapped into oblivion. However, the tide quickly turned back in my favor as Archaludon was put to sleep on the second turn of Yawn, allowing me to safely sub Sylveon back into action and immediately terrestrialize the fairy powerhouse from Generation 6 into a Pixelate-powered cutie. From there, Drayton gets immediately disrespected as Empoleon decided to charm Archuludon before it gets absolutely destroyed by a Pixelate-powered Hyper Beam. This Sylveon finish is dedicated to Penny of Team Star back home in Paldea, as Archuludon went boom, earning me my 4th consecutive victory over a BB League Elite Four leader, officially completing the BB League Elite Four Gauntlet in grand fashion for my Pokémon Scarlet starter-only run. I now made a vow to my fallen comrades, Kiawe the Incineroar, Leon the Charizard, Kukui the Primarina, Hop the Cinderace, Ramos the Venusaur, and Alon the Chestnut, that I was going to go all the way from here on out, and the remaining 24 starters I had left, regardless of which Pokemon I decide to use for the last 2 important battles down the road, I was not going to let them down. Only one thing stood in my way of becoming the BB League champion, and that is one final duel with my old buddy Kieran. One more double battle to decide it all, and if I win, I become a double champion. Having a Pokemon Gaming DLC where every single battle is double battles really made me grow as a Pokemon trainer. And now it was time for one final double battle to determine the BB League champion. It's an exchange student from the Naraja Academy against Kid Akami's favorite son for all the marbles. With my carefully constructed team of 6 chosen ones, I was ready to obtain my own destiny mark of success. The first 2 Pokemon Kieran sent out are Dragonite and Politoed. I decided to lead with Koga the Greninja and Ash the Raichu to take full advantage of Politoed setting up the rain with its Drizzle ability. Dragonite has 2 moves that are 100% accurate in the rain in Hurricane and Thunder. What Kieran's Dragonite doesn't have is the hidden ability Multiscale, as it immediately got one shot out of here by Greninja's quad-effective Ice Beam, also turning Greninja into an Ice type due to its protein ability. I did mention Thunder is 100% accurate in the rain, which is why I decided to use it to its full capability with Raichu. It did not one-shot Politoed, however, due to Politoed holding a Wakan Berry, which cuts in half damage done by super effective electric attacks. And because of the rain, Politoed's normal-type move Weather Ball is now a water-type move, which struck Raichu for some significant damage. Reminding myself of one of my own fainted comrades, Kieran brought out his own Incineroar to intimidate both Greninja and Raichu. However, both Pokemon I have on the field are built special attackers. Greninja then got faked out by Incineroar, getting a flinch. Whatever momentum Kieran was trying to build up is slowly starting to disappear as Raichu wiped out Politoed with a second Thunder. Hoping to restore his dwindling confidence, Kieran brought out a Life Orb holding Porygon Z. Fearing for the Flare Blitz, I decided to sub out Greninja with U-turn for some chip damage and brought in my own fire starter that I'm glad that's still in the rotation, May the Blaziken. I had Raichu use the less powerful Nuzzle to get the immediate paralysis on Porygon Z, and with the rain still falling down, Incineroar's Flare Blitz literally did nothing to Blaziken. Kieran also had Porygon Z charge up a Hyper Beam, which Blaziken dodged, allowing for Raichu to score a second KO with another powerful Thunder. Kieran now has 3 Pokemon remaining. I decided to have Blaziken use Feather Dance to cut down Incineroar's attack by 2 stages. It decided to hit Raichu with a Darkness Lariat, which didn't do much, before Kieran subbed in the Dark Fairy-type Grimmsnarl. Blaziken then proceeded to eliminate Incineroar with Brick Break, while Raichu paralyzed Grimmsnarl with another Nuzzle. Now down to his final 2 Pokemon, Kieran still felt like he could make a comeback, but I was determined to prove him otherwise. As he brought in his ace Pokemon Hydrapple, I decided to sub out Blaziken in favor of my brightest star throughout the entire Indigo Disk run, Serena, my shiny Delphox. To further prove a point that I was here to dominate, I brought in Valerie the Sylveon, as Kieran terrestrialized his Hydrapple, a Grass Dragon type and a new Gen 9 evolution of Applin, into a Terra Fighting type. Kieran's next big mistake was having Grimmsnarl set up a Reflect against two special attackers. Hydrapple did manage to get in a super effective Earth Power on Delphox. It was not going to be super effective anymore, as I terrestrialized my Serena into a Terra Fairy type, officially spelling the end of the line for Kieran. Grimmsnarl was now fully paralyzed, enabling Delphox to strike both Grimmsnarl and Hydrapple with a Terra-boosted Dazzling Gleam, leaving Grimmsnarl with just a slither of HP remaining. Hydrapple, holding an Assault Vest, barely left a scratch on Delphox with a second Earth Power before Hydrapple got wiped out due to Delphox making some psychic noise. Kieran was now rendered helpless and reduced to the role of spectator as I revealed my final move. With one final Pixelate-powered Hyper Beam from Sylveon, Kieran was forced to step aside, as this exchange student from the Paldea region's Naraja Academy became the brand new BB League champion of the Blueberry Academy in the Unova region. I emphatically made good on my vow to the 6 starter Pokemon I lost along the way, and I am entirely sure that they are immensely proud of my decisive performance. I swept Kieran's entire team faster than the 2002 Los Angeles Lakers did to the New Jersey Nets in the NBA Finals. Still, there was one more thing left to accomplish to completely close my Pokémon Scarlet starter-only run, and that is to head back to my native region of Paldea and return to Area 0. Returning to Area 0 with Briar, Carmine, and Kieran, we made it all the way down to the deepest depths with a brand new look and a brand new type, as we found out about the Stellar Terra type. Fiercely battling our way to make it even deeper, we found 4 wild Pokemon, all with the Stellar Terra type. I had Brock the Swampert take care of Stellar Terra Glamora. Chloe the Glaceon handled Stellar Terra Noivern. Marnie the Rillaboom wiped out Sandy Shocks, while Casey the Meganium knocked out Garganacl. As we made it down to the lowest floor, Briar and Kieran saw a mysterious crystal. Kieran was able to rip it off its pedestal, and once he held it upward, a blinding light started to illuminate the room, revealing the legendary Terrapagos. As Terrapagos was awakened from its slumber, it started to approach me, before Kieran shockingly pulled out a Master Ball and proceeded to catch Terrapagos. Of course, Kieran had to challenge me to an impromptu battle after catching Terrapagos, thinking he could finally best me in a Pokemon battle, but I had to prove him wrong once again as I brought in Paul the Infernape. This is my first official look at Terrapagos in its Terra Shift form. After 3 Drain Punches, Infernape was able to get the KO and hand me yet another victory over the former BB League champion. At Briar's request, Kieran charged up his Terra Orb and proceeded to terrestrialize Terrapagos, and that is when everything started to get chaotic. Everyone in the room now bared witness to the hidden treasure of Area 0. Carmine suggested that Kieran return Terrapagos to its Master Ball, but the true terrestrial form was so powerful it completely shattered the Master Ball. In order to calm Terrapagos' spirit, we had to face it in an ultimate Terra Raid battle. The first phase of the fight has Terrapagos as a normal type, while showing off the stellar Terra type. I terrestrialized Infernape into a ghost type, and one final Dragon Punch broke through the first shield. Then Terrapagos absorbed all of my terrestrial energy, changing its type from normal to psychic for the second phase. Terrapagos then proceeded to knock out Carmine's final healthy Pokemon Sinistcha with a powerful Zen Headbutt. For round 2, I brought out another starter Pokemon that I hadn't used in quite some time, Price the Feraligatr, terrestrializing it into a Dark type. Feraligatr took a massive chunk into that shield with Crunch, setting up the third and final phase. I was doing this entire battle basically on my own with a little help from Carmine, but now it was Kieran's time to finally step up to the plate. I encouraged Kieran that we can beat Terrapagos as a tag team, and that's when he finally snapped out of his cold spell. Now fully united, Kieran decided to bring out his ace Pokemon Hydrapple, as I made one final substitution after Terrapagos absorbed terrestrial energy for the last time. I brought out a starter that I hadn't used throughout the entire run, bringing in Trip the Superior. Now with the hidden ability Contrary, it's time for Superior to start serving up some Leaf Storms, a move that normally lowers your special attack by 2 stages, but with Contrary, it actually raises your special attack stat by 2 instead. A second Leaf Storm put Trip at a +4 in special attack, but after receiving a Dragon Cheer from Hydrapple, it was knocked out on the next turn by Terra Starstorm, the signature move of Terrapagos. Now that Terrapagos is a water type for the third phase of this bout, it was time to make my move, using the Terra Orb for the final time, terrestrializing Superior into a powerful grass type. A third and final Leaf Storm completely maxes out Superior's special attack stat to a full +6, and it also prevented Terrapagos from absorbing terrestrial energy again. I kept it simple for the last move I would make, having Superior use Giga Drain to officially defeat the legendary Terrapagos. Now vulnerable and in a weakened state, after being shrunk down to size back to its Terra Shift form, I caught the legendary Terrapagos in a Safari Ball. This spectacular capture officially concludes the first time I ever finished an entire Pokemon game using only the starter Pokemon. To all of you, the viewers, who decided to take in this experience with me, I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart, especially if you saw this from the beginning to the end. And if you enjoy content like this, be sure to leave a like. And if you are a newcomer to this channel, be sure to click on that subscribe button, because every subscription tells me that I am doing something right and will inspire me to want to make even more gaming content. Doing this starter-only run in Pokémon Scarlet was so much fun, I forgot to mention who my favorite starter is. It's definitely gotta be Greninja after this run. Let me know which starter Pokemon is your favorite if you want to in the comment section below. And finally, another special thank you to artist and streamer Ember Z Painter for the channel art she generously made for me. She is excellent at what she does. Be sure to go to her channel, give her a subscription as well, as she so richly deserves it. Gen 9, you were awesome, and I can't wait to see what the next generation of Pokemon will bring. But until then, take care, God bless you all, and keep on shining.